All right, so sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I just looked up and it was shut off. So if you guys find part 2, here I am. So I believe what we were talking about was the control panel here and this MSD relay. I'm not 100% sure where the stream got cut off, but it looks like we're going good now. Try to get this stream up. Okay, so anyway, yeah, so these are our fuses here. This is our MSD relay. This is a solid state unit. I'm hoping I'm picking up where I left off. But yeah, these are 20 amp per unit. You can tie them together to make 40 and 40, or you can tie them all together to make 80. And being solid state, if you remember from our previous wiring tech shows, solid state can be pulse width modulated, so you can turn it on and off at different frequencies, and it works really well. And then they give you this really nice power and ground over here, so you can either energize them by power or you can energize them by ground. Really neat little thing, and they're compact. You can stack them. They're really good. So it's the first time I've used one, but I'm really digging the way it goes. And one of the things I'll show you guys next week is I'm making a sensor junction box. So on a Dominator, we can run a bunch of different sensors, but you have to have a power and a 5 volt, 12 volt, 5 volt, or grounding for thermistor style. And it gets really crazy over here at the ECU because you have to have all these branches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a 12 channel box that the sensors will go to that, and they'll just plug in individually, and then inside the box you'll be able to get the 12 volt or 5 volt, the ground, and the return, and then it'll just come out the other side. You'll have a single 5 volt, a single 12 volt, a ground, and then 12 inputs for your sensors. So it should make it real clean, and that'll get mounted over here. So that's pretty much all I had for the show. I apologize about the stream getting knocked off. I don't know when it got knocked off. I just happened to look up away from the camera and saw that the streaming had stopped. So again, I apologize about that, and we'll see where we are next week. I appreciate everybody being on. Remember, hit the like buttons, give me a thumbs up if you like the information. Subscribe to the channel, it's free. And if you want to get on the chat and you don't have a YouTube account, you have to subscribe to YouTube. Again, it's free. And then you can get on the chat and join the conversation. That's about it. Yeah, Mike, welcome back. Yeah, a backup to the batteries. Okay, I'm not 100% sure where I ended, but let me get switched here. That was kind of crazy. I don't know what happened. I just looked up and it was gone. So I apologize about that. I'll go over it over the live, replay the live, and I will try to fix it all for next week. We'll fill in the blanks. So try to come back next week, and as I was saying, hit the like button. I don't know what I'm gonna have to do to get more solid streaming capabilities here, but I'll keep working on it. And I'll show you the finished product with the wiring on Smurf. I want to put a second battery in the back of the Suburban. Yeah, so you can do run a second battery, but remember, if you want the charging system to charge both batteries, you have to do two different things. You can do it with an isolator block, which all your batteries connect to, and then the alternator connects to it, and then it charges the battery it needs the most charge. Or if you got them in the same location, then you can hook them up parallel, pull power off of one battery, pull the ground off the other battery, and then it'll take care of it for you. Yeah, you want to run an inverter in the back. So, I mean, it's up to you, Mike, whether you want to run 2 batteries in the back or you want to run them in the front. Like I said, if you want to run an inverter, I would suggest putting the batteries in the back, both batteries in the back, because that way you can wire them parallel, and now your inverter is drawing off of both batteries, so you're doubling your input to the into the inverter, so you can run higher output products. If you remember when we were, well, maybe we were doing those after you left. The fire sprinkler guys, they wanted to start running all their threading machines for their fire pipe off the truck. So if they're at a job site, there's no power. So we were putting in 5,000 watt inverters so that it would have enough power to run the threading machine. And what we would do is we'd put 2 batteries in the truck. We put them up in the front. We just get a diesel bracket and put the second battery in there. But we would wire the truck in parallel. So all the grounds were going to one battery, and the power was going to the opposite battery. Then we ran cables to connect the 2, power to power, ground to ground. And then off those 2 same lugs, we would run the cables back to the back so that we could run that big inverter. And it worked out well. I mean, those machines, I think, needed 25 amps to thread the pipe, and it would run off those inverters no problem. They would have to keep the engine running, though, because the 5,000 watt inverter would pull the batteries down fairly quick. But if you ran the truck with the alternator running, the engine running, it kept them going. So that worked out real well. Mike, I know you worked on the bucket trucks, but those were a little different because those inverters were not to run anything high amperage. It was just to run like a TV or their cable testing equipment and stuff. So, but what they would do, if you remember, they have a power strip next to the inverter, and all the battery cables went to that. That is a battery isolation bridge, and that will allow your alternator to charge multiple batteries. So that way, the batteries that they had in the back of the truck, they had that big, I don't remember what that's called, P30 or A30, whatever that, A3, that big battery, or D3, big battery to have in the back of the work truck. Their alternator would charge both batteries, even though they're not using both batteries for the inverter, but at least they would both keep a full charge on them. So just got to think about which way you want to do it, how big of an inverter you want to put in there, and then you can go there. I'm not running anything that big, just a small portable fridge, and there's some lights. Yeah, well, if you run LED lights, I mean, that's almost nothing. You wouldn't even need an inverter for that. Small portable fridge. You have to look at match your inverter to your amperage, and then at that point you could see how much, they usually will tell you what kind of input it needs, and then you can look at your battery amp hours and see if a single battery would work or if you need to hook up in parallel. But if you could just do a single battery, you could just do that isolation bridge, and that would tie the batteries together so that you could charge them off the alternator. You wouldn't have to have 2 things. So there's a couple ways you can do it, basically, and those basically are the 2 best ways of doing it. So glad you found and picked me back up, Mike. I have to apologize to everybody else next week, and we'll go from there. I'm not 100% sure what we'll do for next week for the show, but we'll get something going here, and hope you have a good week. Everybody stay safe, and hopefully the rest of the people in Florida that are without power, they all get their power back soon. I didn't notice on Mike's weather page, but he says there's still a lot, I think a couple 100,000 people still without power in Florida. I think there was over 300 homes. Oh, excuse me, 300 homes messed up in Port St. Lucie and Jupiter. So a lot of cleanup left to do here in the state. So with that, I think we'll go ahead and pull the plug, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Mike, thanks for finding the second part, and we'll talk to you guys. Talk to you all later.